Check Sean G out. Where my other phone at? Hold up. Let me go get my other phone. Live from Las Vegas. We locked in. Puffy, his paperwork came down, and his release date is gonna be, I'm gonna tell it to you right now, because somebody sent it to me. Hold on. Somebody sent it to me. All right, so here is his Sean Combs registration number. Registered number 054. He 054. So here it is. Release date, May the 8th, 2028. Registration number 37452. 37452. Now, this is how this works. Everybody's calling me, Sean is. Listen. Number one right off the bat. Puffy won. Number one right off the bat. Puffy beat the feds at trial. Number one right off the bat. Puffy did not rat. He did not cooperate. His integrity is intact. Number one right off the bat. He took the Southern District of New York to trial. He told them, present your best case. The Southern District of New York presented 34 witnesses. Puffy presented no witnesses, and he beat him. Number one right off the bat, the Southern District of New York engaged in prosecutorial misconduct, perjury, circumvention of the Constitution, and they still lost. So Puffy won. He was convicted of 2 Mann Act counts that should have never ever been brought. Mutually exclusive and independently standing on their own square, the 2 Mann Act charges would have never been approved according to the Department of Justice's memo that the only time you can bring a Mann Act charge in federal court is it has to be a for-profit situation. There has to be commercial gain. Before a case can be brought, an indictment can be brought from the Mann Act, it needs to be sent to a special department within the the Department of Justice, and they have to review it and make sure that it meets the criteria to be a standalone Mann Act charge. Puffy's Mann Act charges do not and would have not, in and of themselves, hold on, y'all, in and of themselves would have not been brought because he didn't make any money. It was not a for-profit entity. Nobody was SEX trafficked. These were 2 women, adult, grown women, making their own decisions under their own volition, under their own judgment, under their own choice. There was no force, there was no coercion. The 2 male prostitutes, or the male prostitutes, were hired from an ongoing concern, an entity called Cowboys and Angels. They came and engaged in consensual swinger lifestyle sex with Cassie and with Jane Doe, and Puffy would film and record and stand over there and do whatever he do, you understand? But Puffy never had sexual relations with the prostitutes, with the male escorts. Never, not once. Who he had sex with in these swinger lifestyle things was his girlfriends. Now that that's out the way. So, the judge, who is a very, the judge is easily influenced. He's a beginner. He's an amateur judge. He's a novice at best. And he allowed himself to be bullied. He allowed himself to be extorted. He allowed himself to be intimidated. We do not know by who, but that is exactly what happened. He was not in control of his decisions. I believe personally that somebody behind the curtain, behind the scenes, was telling him, you will do this, you will rule that way, you will deny the bail, you will get rid of juror number 6, you will not bring perjury charges against 6 or 7 of the government's witnesses that committed perjury. That's what I believe. That's what I saw. When I was in the courtroom, I was there in the motherfucking courtroom every day for the whole trial. I saw the whole thing. I was not hiding behind a fake profile, living out here in Las Vegas, following the trial from fourth-hand and fifth-hand information from mainstream media or other social media followers. I was there. Puffy got over-sentenced. Puffy's lawyer, Jason Driscoll, stood up at the sentencing hearing and told the judge, who is the first South Asian judge in the history of the Southern District of New York. He's the first token South Asian judge. So yes, boss. Yes, he has to scratch his head, smile, and show his teeth for his white handlers. And Jason Driscoll stood up in the courtroom and told him, Judge, I have looked at all 900 Mann Act cases on Pacer, and we've done the mathematics, and the mean or the median or the average sentence for Mann Act cases of this nature, similar to the conduct of Puff, which none of them was similar because Puffy never had sex with the prostitutes. The average sentence is 14.7 months. That's it. Yet, the token South Asian judge from the Southern District of New York, who was bullied throughout the trial by someone we don't know who, but we do know Maureen Comey bullied him in the courtroom. We all saw that. I saw that personally. The judge enhanced Puffy 13 levels, from a level 14 to a level 27, negating and turning his back on the July 9th, 2025 order that he issued, saying U.S. 182421, sentencing guideline range 2G1.1, bring me cases. Jason Driscoll brought him cases that fit with what he said. The prosecution, the Ivy League, 6 white women from the Ivy League brought the judge other cases. 18 USC 2422 with force and coercion, which we know there was no force and coercion because those were predicate offenses underneath the RICO and the SEX trafficking charges, which the jury, as Mr. Combs exercised his 6th Amendment right to a jury trial, the 12 New Yorkers said not guilty, acquitted. Because Mark Agnifilo from the Bronx, and he went to law school in Brooklyn, he beat Christy Slavic, who went to law school, I think, at an Ivy League school, UPenn. The jury rejected her Ivy League sentencing argument. They rejected that. They said, yo, get that up out of here. We ain't with that. This is the Bronx. We ain't with that. This is Harlem right here. This is Manhattan. This is Queens. Get that up out of here. Get that up out of here. If you got abs like this, then you look like something. The judge violated 6 or 7 Supreme Court of the United States justices, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Clarence Thomas, Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, Barrett, and Scalia, that said using acquitted conduct at sentencing is unjust and it's unconstitutional. Yet he did it anyway. He enhanced a first offender with 0 criminal history points, 13 levels, and he gave Puffy 50 months, which is severely over sentenced. And he did that to try to play it off to come in less than the 135 months that the prosecution was asking for, and less than the 70 to 87 months that the probation was asking for. He ain't slick. He ain't slick. He tried to be slick. But we on top of that. We on top of that. So, Puffy has got 50 months, which coincides with the release date of May 2028. May the 8th, 2028. Right off the rip, you could knock off 6 months for home confinement or halfway house. So that brings us back to December 2027. You knock off 6 months from this date. He gets into the drug program. That's another year knocked off his sentence. So that brings us back to December 2026, right? Now, he's got good time that he's going to do. And from what I understand, it's different from when I was in the feds. They say that with this new First Step Act that Trump put into place, he can earn more good time credits from programming, meaning going to classes, getting certificates, whatever. So that brings him back to late to mid 2026. So that's it. This is just the release date that's on the file that's representative of from the date he got sentenced, calculating 50 months out to the date that he is to go all the way if he doesn't get any type of credits for anything. Rdap, the drug program, good time, and all of that. So calm down. Listen, stop saying the judge denied Puffy the right to go to FCI Fort Dix to get in the drug program. That is a fucking lie. So stop saying that. The judge cannot deny where Puffy gets sent. It's not his choice. And if you read the letter, the judge specifically stated, it's not my call. It's the call of the Federal Bureau of Prisons. The BOP makes that call, not the judge. The judge did recommend and say, hey, I can't recommend where you send them. You may send them to South Dakota. You may send them to Arkansas. You may send them to Kentucky. I can't recommend that, but I recommend that he stays close to the New York City metropolitan area so that he stays close to his kids. That's what he said. Stop saying the judge denied him. The judge denied. That's not true. That's not true. It's not the judge's call. And if you read the letter, he spells it out. Me personally, I hope that Puff does not get sentenced anywhere close to the New York City metropolitan area, because I think it'll be a distraction. Getting multiple visits per week, getting multiple visits, I think that's no good. I support Puff. I love Puff for what he did, standing up for himself as a man, standing up for his family, standing up for his rights. But if it was me, I would ship Puffy way out to South Dakota or Oregon or Washington State so that he could go and be alone with himself and reflect on his life and his mistakes and his choices and his decisions and his judgment, and that he could work on his plan, his comeback, because his comeback is going to be spectacular. Puffy's comeback is going to be extraordinary. He's going to write a book. He's going to write his own movie. He's going to write an album. And when he touches down, when he goes to R&D and he goes home, he's going to be an entirely different man. And y'all get ready with the comeback. And that's the way it's going down. Shout out to Puff. Free Puff. Shout out to Alexander Shapiro. His appeal, Alexander Shapiro filed notice that she is going to appeal Puffy's case to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. 17 federal judges signed an amicus brief stating that sentencing a defendant on acquitted conduct is unconstitutional and unjust. So we are going to appeal the case. Whether Puffy has to do all of his time and get appealed later is fine, or if he gets appealed while he's in there and gets early release, fine. We don't care. We're not ashamed of going to prison. We're not afraid of going to prison. We don't care what you think about us because we're in prison. We don't care what you think about us, what you got to say about us, how you feel about us. We gonna keep doing our motherfucking thing. From now to the year 3000. It's Free Puff. Peace.